Welcome to Filmoscopy, a quaint little podcast where three friends get together and talk about a movie one of them has chosen. I am the back-to-back host with how these episodes are going to release. Lance, I hope everyone's having a wonderful evening, day, afternoon, weekend, weekday, whatever. And my two co-hosts, as normal, Cody.
Chala, head chala.
Oh, I ain't gonna do it. That's gonna sound really racist. And Owen.
Yo.
uh, Sweet. So this episode is going to be very heavily information loaded before we get to the plot. I feel like we have to explain some things to all of
Loaded
the
with
crowd.
information.
Yes. Um, So I made the decision I wanted to do a compare and contrast between two anime movies that I love very much from an anime series that is the only anime series that I will claim to love. The first one being the last episode, which was Dragon Ball Z Broly, the Legendary Super Saiyan, and then today we're covering Dragon Ball Super Broly. You're probably thinking Super. Uh, What's so super about it? Well, it wears a cape and it has an S on its chest. Um, um,
More
but
like
no,
Dragon
we
Ball.
have a
That's swell.
yeah. But no, so with the series, Akira Toriyama created the series, and it's based off like Journey to the West, and it's broken up in increments. This thing is a manga, so manga is I believe back in the day was black and white. It's a pretty much like a Japanese comic book, but it's very thick. It's not like a comic
They're
book that has like 15
yeah.
pages. Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
No,
they're
it's
still
like
black and
it's
white for the most
yeah.
part.
So
No.
black and white manga. It's you just read the chapters. So the anime is based off of this. It's made by Toei Animation, and it goes with Dragon Ball, which follows the adventures of Goku as a kid. Goku being the title character. You find out in Dragon Ball Z that Goku is an alien from a warrior race called the Saiyans, and it seems, it's retroactively like that. He was just a kid with a tail, and when I mean a tail, like a monkey tail. And you may say, well, that seems kind of weird in this world. Uh, why would now anyone think this kid was normal? Well, they have like green people, dinosaurs, stuff walking around the world of Dragon Ball. Someone with a tail, it's pretty fucking normal. So Dragon Ball is when Goku's a kid. Dragon Ball Z, which is the big one, is Goku finding out his little journey and fighting monstrous villains. And then before Dragon Ball Super came out, the sequel series was Dragon Ball GT, where Goku is wished because there's a magical set of Dragon Balls that summons a dragon where you can get a wish. Goku's wished to being a kid again, and he becomes a kid. So they have another little set of series. It doesn't go as long as Z. And then, oh, see, that was 96 when that ended in Japan. I want to say 2018. Dragon Ball, not 2018. It's probably that 2015. Probably 2012. I can't remember. Dragon Ball Super debuted in Japan, so it was from 96 to 2012. So Super takes place after Z now. It's the new sequel series. GT is rendered what nerds call non-canon, and all this whole thing. So, exposition dump for the story. Goku. Anybody who's ever heard of the word Goku, you probably know who it is. Just put in your little Google machine. And Goku um, is from a race of warriors called the Saiyans, who all have tails. They have tails is significant because they turn into skyscraper, if not bigger size, great apes when there's a full moon, and they can destroy things. That was always looked at as the key to unlocking their true power. And later on, they talk about a legend of the Super Saiyan where their hair goes gold and they get more power, and then everything escalates. So there's like a Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, which is probably the best transformation. In Super, they introduced Super Saiyan God, which is just a red version of it, And then there's a level beyond that called Super Saiyan Blue, and then I think there's like Super Saiyan Really Blue,
No.
and then
No,
everybody
no,
else.
no, no. So there's Super Saiyan God, which is red, which you see in this movie. Then there's Super Saiyan God Super
Cody
Saiyan,
goes,
which is blue.
Cody goes, no, 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 no. He's like, I caught him off guard. He goes, no, I ain't gonna let you get away with that.
There's Super
And they're
Saiyan.
super duper.
There's Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, which is blue with blue hair. You see it in the movie. Then there's Goku is able to do his Kaioken power up as Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Super. So it has more of like a red and blue like blend to like the aura and stuff, but it's still blue hair. And then Goku ascends to Ultra Instinct
Ultra Instinct.
Sign, I think, which is like partial Ultra Instinct. And then there's Ultra Instinct Perfected, I want to maybe is what it's called, where his hair turns silver and he has like extremely fast reflexes, and it's basically like putting him nearly on par with a god, like Whis.
Mm-hmm.
And in the manga, Vegeta doesn't hit Ultra Instinct because he doesn't have the right what's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't have the right like demeanor for that. So he actually goes more toward what Beerus would represent, which is ultra ego, where his hair turns purple, because it's more fueled by aggression and rage and stuff, as opposed to like Ultra Instinct, which I think is more like it focuses in more like on the calm and serenity of combat versus, it's like two different sides of the same coin kind of thing. But unfortunately, we've never seen Ultra Ego in anything except for the manga because they stopped making the series. And yeah.
Yeah. So before we get into the story part of the series, Cody, you had mentioned I had asked you, and you said you watched it a long time ago. You have watched the TV special Bardock, the Father of Goku, correct?
Yeah. I have
Okay.
a vague recollection of it, but I don't know it like beat for beat or anything.
Yeah. Do you remember what Bardock looked like then, though, in that design?
I mean, it's pretty similar to what he looks like in this movie, right?
No.
Well, what's different
You
about
just
him?
Google Bardock real quick. You just Google it real quick. It'll be easier for you just to look at it.
Chala,
I'm not quick enough to get a picture.
head chala.
Well, yeah, I was gonna send you this intro. The intro to that Bardock movie is like this really fucking heavy guitar riff, and then I think it's Christopher Sabat's voice who does Piccolo, and it just sounds like Piccolo going Dragon Ball Z. It's pretty fucking sick.
So
Let me know when you Google
it looks
Bardock.
like
His armor's different. He's got a more tan skin.
he
I
also
mean,
he also
obviously
he
the
also has like
design.
an angrier demeanor to him.
Yes, well, which I'm gonna get into when we talk about their version of the Saiyans in this movie.
Yeah,
If you don't mind, send that to the Discord for Owen to look at so he can see the difference. If you don't mind,
See.
I'm not fast enough to do that.
Okay. Chala, head chala.
Fucking Cody, stop that, man! I'm gonna start doing some shit, and people will be like, "He's racist."
Hey, would you like the American version of the theme song? Dragon, dragon, rock the dragon, dragon balls.
Dude, I'm sure you haven't looked at my sound files, but that is literally the intro I picked out for the Dragon Ball Z Broly movie, even though that song has nothing to do with that movie. I just like, this is fucking sick. I'll never have a chance to use it. So,
Let's rock the dragon.
shit. Let me get to the Discord page real quick on my phone.
All right,
All right.
I just sent the comparison image to the Discord.
So the one on the left is him from before,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one on the right.
Where'd he get this little scar from? Eating pussy?
You want to know where I got these
Probably
scars?
Guinea's pussy's pretty sharp. So the thing that really bothers, and it may be just a thing that they do. Like, I'm gonna get into this anyway. So, Owen, if you're looking at that picture, the left is from Bardock, Father of Goku. So the Saiyans are in that TV special, and this TV special was dropped in the middle of the Frieza and Goku Namek fight. It was a TV special actually put on TV during the um, live run of Dragon Ball Z in Japan, and they put that in and kind of show how everything led up to it. Um, how do I put this? So Bardock in that they're fighting. He has a team of warriors with him. It's like three dudes and a chick, so four guys and one girl, and they're trying to take over this planet. And it's like a kind of a crummier planet. And they're like, "What does Frieza want this planet for?" And they're like, "Well, it's been told that the people that inhabit this planet can tell the future." And I think Frieza, being the paranoid that he is, wants to have that power. And then some last remaining survivor of that race pops up and then tells them, like, you're all going to die and all this other shit. Well, he stabs Bardock in the back of the neck, and it does something to Bardock's brain where Bardock has the ability to see the future. Well, the future is the Saiyan race is going to be destroyed. So he's seeing all these images and doesn't understand why he's seeing it. And then he sees, like, he thinks he's just hallucinating. So his team goes off without him because he's recuperating from the attack, and they end up getting ambushed by Dodoria. Now he's the big fat pink guy that was with Frieza's people. Um, and then Bardock shows up and he survives it because Dodoria is much more powerful. He goes, "Why? Why is Frieza trying to kill us? We've done everything for him." And it's like he thinks you're getting too powerful, which is always the same iteration. Like Frieza thinks the Saiyans are getting too powerful. He wants to destroy him. So Bardock goes back to planet Vegeta, which is obviously the Saiyan race for everybody listening out there. Goes back to the planet, tries to warn everybody they're drinking, having a good time, saying, "Nah, you're just full of it, man. Get out of here." So Bardock is all bloodied and everything, and says like he's gonna go confront Frieza because Frieza's ship is outside; it's in the planet's orbit. So he goes up there, and in the TV special, a bunch of Frieza soldiers come out to try to attack Bardock. He just goes straight through them. Frieza comes up, and then Bardock gives him the speech. He goes, "We're done working for you," and all this other shit. And he has that little blue energy blast, and he throws it at Frieza. So I think it's more epic how it happens in the TV special. But I like the delivery here in the special, in the Super movie. When he does it, Frieza has that little ball on his finger, and he starts laughing, and it turns into a death ball, which is that big thing that destroys Planet Vegeta, and it just absorbs Bardock's beam, and Bardock goes, "No way!" So Frieza, he flicks it down like he does in this movie. Bardock is engulfed in his death ball as it goes into the planet, and he sees that it's going to be Goku, his son, or Kakarot as he knows him, is going to be one that destroys Frieza. So that's that, and then Goku is sent off as a child in that moment and I've talked about this before in the last movie, to Earth, and that's how the story of Dragon Ball Z starts, all that shit. So Toriyama did a manga called Dragon Ball Minus, and it's with Jakku the Patrolman, which is kind of this like joke-looking character, and in it, like he's supposed to like intercept Goku from landing on the planet, so all these bad things don't happen. It ends up failing or whatever. But it ends up showing an element of the story of Bardock that we see in this movie. This movie, Dragon Ball Super Broly, is like the greatest hits of all the stories that we love. And I'll see if Cody agrees with me. I think it's missing one character in it to have the complete fan service. And Cody may know what I'm hinting at. He may not until I actually say it.
Is it one of the little aliens that they forced to replicate Planet Vegeta that actually secretly like the torture?
Oh no. No. Oh yeah. No. We'll get into it in just a minute. So Dragon Ball Super Broly starts off kind of retelling the events. Bardock, you actually see for the first time on screen. If you don't read manga, you've never seen this chick. You see Goku's mother. And for the first time outside of video games, Bardock actually utters Raditz's name, which is Raditz is Goku's older brother that's in the first couple episodes of Dragon Ball Z when he shows up. He's the one that introduces the story elements that Goku's an alien, and then this is a whole universal thing, not just a Planet Earth thing, where it was just a Planet Earth martial arts tournament is what everybody was working towards, and you had some powerful beings trying to take over the world that Goku was saving it from. Well, now this is turned into a universal thing. Um, so Bardock is multiple times saying he has a bad feeling. He thinks Frieza's going to do this. So obviously that's a nod to Bardock having the psychic powers from before in the TV special that's, I guess, non-canon now. There's a quick shot. Like, Owen wouldn't have noticed it. I don't think Cody would notice it either. I didn't even notice it this time I watched, but I've seen the image of it. There's a quick shot when Frieza puts on the scouter for the first time and starts reading things. There's a shot, and you have 4 Saiyans in that shot. And it's the 3 dudes and the chick that was part of Bardock's team from the Father of Goku special. So those characters do exist. And
they're not the ones he killed, right? Like, not the ones he.
No, not the ones up in the towers. Those are just snipers. Like, when Frieza first puts on the scouter and you see, like, just the Saiyan entourage looking at him through the scouter lens. All 4 of those members of Bardock's team are right in there, even though we don't see Bardock with them. That's like a little Easter egg. And Toritaro, he's the dude who runs it now. Hold on. I probably won't be able to say his name correctly. Toyo Taru is the guy kind of running Dragon Ball as a franchise now. He says that he thinks, because it wasn't explained, that Midoriya and his elite guardsmen or whatever killed those 4 characters anyway, because they were off-world. They went off-world before Frieza could kill them, so he ended up killing them, just like he did in the Bardock special. That's just kind of like a headcanon thing. So Bardock, very uncharacteristically, and the Saiyans are very uncharacteristically nice in this movie, like on Planet Vegeta, like they're a peaceful race or some shit like that. And that's one of the biggest gripes about this movie, because Saiyans are supposed to be like really like mean and nasty. Just, there's some hints around to it when Paragus, who is Broly's father, says, "Yeah, you never heard of a trustworthy Saiyan," and all this other shit. But so to me, like, they're just too nice. Like, Bardock's too nice. Like, Toriyama tried to make Bardock too much like Goku, and it's like, I like Bardock's portrayal in his Father of Goku special versus this, because he's a hardened guy, but he ends up trying to fight against the ultimate evil, standing up by himself, and then kind of realizing his wrongs in the end, knowing Goku's the one that's going to correct everything. So that's a cool thing. Of course, you can only do so much, like the first 10 minutes of this movie. But so Bardock has like this bad feeling. You're introduced before this, like 5 years before this, where King Cold, who we've seen before in the Dragon Ball Z series, Frieza's dad, and Frieza come down. You see, I guess, the change of power when King Cold says, "I'm retiring, Frieza's taking over." And what's cool about it, you see all these cameos. You have the Ginyu Force, which are 5 warriors that Frieza brings into the Namek conflict, if you will.
Zarbon and Dodoria's in there.
Zarbon, Dodoria. Now, I love Zarbon. He's the pretty boy. The only reason I like him, though, is he has a badass voice actor in the Ocean dub. And I'll send that to you guys so y'all can hear it, because he sounds very feminine when he talks now. And they do that on purpose because he's supposed to be like a sissy boy. But, man, he's a good-looking character, but he had a badass Australian voice actor for the Ocean dub. I'm like, hell yeah. It's like, I'll send you guys another clip, like Raditz. I was telling Owen this offline. Raditz, Goku's brother, his voice actor is fine, but his Ocean dub voice actor is my favorite one. So, like, if I could just have, like, the Raditz voice from Ocean dub and the Zarbon voice from Ocean dub put into the Dragon Ball Z dub, I'd be super happy with it, because those are just awesome interpretations. It's very Saturday morning cartoon, but they're just fucking great. Anywho, so Frieza gives them scouters, and I think Dragon Ball GT had said that the Saiyans had got the scouters from the Tuffles, who were a race of people that inhabited Planet Vegeta before the Saiyans got there. But I think they kind of, Frieza said they had perfected the little scout thing that the Saiyans had. So I guess we could kind of headcanon say that the Tuffles made that part, and Frieza's people made the Scouters based off that or whatever. And then everything kind of happens like it did. Um, Frieza's about to blow up the planet. Bardock is up there. You see a bunch of people around Bardock, but they don't zoom in on it. But Bardock is battle damaged, like he's been fighting to get up there. And the music is fucking kick ass. And he fires that blue energy wave at the death ball, and then he gets sucked up. It's fucking awesome. Like it doesn't. It's more dramatic in the TV special because that movie is about Bardock. But the way they did that part here is fucking phenomenal. What do you think, Cody, about that?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, thank you for that. Owen, what did you think about that? The opening scene, like first 15 minutes we're in.
Like the backstory with on that not Namek on the
I will say
planet fucking
Planet
Vegeta.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hold on.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead, Owen. What you waiting
okay.
for?
Sorry, I thought you were gonna say something. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I mean, I wasn't expecting it or anything like that, but it was cool to have some backstory, and ultimately,
Did it give?
it kind of brings me to my point, or kind of the takeaway that I kind of had between these two versions is that the one thing I do like about this version of these two movies is just kind of how much, and it may be like a time related thing or something like that, but this movie, there's a lot more that can be fleshed out, and I feel like if I'm somebody who was a fan, maybe this intro didn't need to actually be in, like the Broly movie or something, but
Yeah.
for
I
me
mean,
as somebody who hasn't watched shit, it was kind of cool to have it in there.
yeah. And the Z Broly movie that came out in the schedule where they were putting out 2 movies a year. So they put out 13 Dragon Ball Z movies, and before that they had 4 Dragon Ball movies. So it was from like 86 to 96. 2 movies a year, boom, 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 and they weren't like they had slightly higher budgets than the actual anime episodes. Where this thing was able to like they put it out there. They wanted to have all this. So yeah, but I remember watching it thinking, man, this is fucking awesome because you see and how the story's supposed to play out. There's 4 Saiyans that weren't killed supposedly on planet Vegeta. It's Vegeta, Nappa, Raditz, and then Kakarot. And then later on, they expand it to like a movie villain named Turles, who's supposed to be the evil version of Goku. And then obviously Broly, and then Tarble, which is Vegeta's brother. But when the planet's destroyed, there's 2 Saiyans talking to Nappa, which is a nice little cameo. And then you see a kid Raditz and a kid Vegeta. Vegeta being nonchalant is like, I'll never be king and all this other shit. And then they do a little nod to Raditz as obviously Goku's older brother. And then they talk about Vegeta and his brother, which, if you've only seen the anime, you don't know who the fuck that is. It was only like I guess another little TV special that was released way later on.
Yeah, I can't.
They introduced
I
that
don't
Vegeta
even.
had a brother.
I don't even think that TV special was. If it was released in the United States, it was like extremely like the way you could get it is like extremely limited, if I remember correctly. Like it came
Yeah,
packaged as
there's no
like
there's
in like a special
there's
collection
there's
with
no
a
English
video
dub.
game or some shit like that.
Yeah, there's no English dub of it either.
Oh,
Like no
okay.
official English dub of it.
Yeah, because I remember there was
Um,
some special that came with like I want to say like Raging Blast 2 or something like that, where
that's
it was on the
that's
disc.
that. It was an OVA that they remade. It was a plan to eradicate the Saiyans,
Okay, gotcha.
and there's there's some kind of like tough old doctor who looks like an evil Santa Claus or some shit like that that creates this being that's like stronger than Broly, and they use like this little fog machine that creates these illusions of Frieza, Turles, and the Lord Slug, and that, and it's a whole thing. Because I just watched it because there is an original version of it and then a remade version of it that cuts some things out. Um, so you see those cameos, and then it goes to present day. So right before we get to present day, I'm going to ask Cody what he thinks I'm referencing that's missing from all of these cameos and everything in this movie. And then he's going to do a quick overview of Dragon Ball Super leading up to the events of this movie, because everything I talked about is literally everything pre Dragon Ball. So, Cody, we had all of these characters show up: Zarbon, Dodoria, Ginyu Force, King Cold, Frieza, Raditz, Nappa with Vegeta, Bardock's team for a quick little image, King Vegeta, Paragus. I guess I didn't mention Paragus is the father of Broly, and in this story, so the previous movie we reviewed, the Dragon Ball Z Broly movie, Broly and Kakarot, aka Goku, were born on the same day. So that's been changed on the story. Broly has been born around the same time as Prince Vegeta, so he's at least 3 or 4 years older than Goku at this point. Like in this movie, Broly has no connection to Goku whatsoever. He just hates King Vegeta and he hates Vegeta by proxy. Um, so Broly's sent off to a world instead of getting killed, but I think King Vegeta sends him off because he can't stand the thought of Broly being stronger than his son Prince Vegeta. So he sends him off to this desolate planet that's uninhabitable. Hopefully he's gonna get killed. Paragus gets pissed off, takes off, and finds his son, and then they're stranded on that planet because the ship got damaged for
which I like
40
this.
years.
I like this setup way more than the other movie. I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah, but
I
see,
didn't mind so much the whole like, oh, he grew up with the Saiyans and like kind of just became psychotic. But I think that this is a little bit more nuanced.
well, he didn't grow up with the Saiyans though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes him more complex. It adds a sense of tragedy to.
yeah.
Is it a tragic?
Because really,
So like in the last movie though, Cody, he didn't grow up with the Saiyans. Remember they left before the planet blew up. Like he was a kid. King Vegeta had him stabbed through the chest as a baby.
oh
He
yeah,
killed
okay,
Paragus.
yeah.
They were just
I'm
thrown out with the
confused. I'm
trash.
confusing it with like where he was. Because they were working with other people at some point, and he was like just out of control.
No,
Or
no,
was
he
this-
was just out of control. Like him and his dad was going around. He was destroying planets and shit like that, and his dad was with him. That's all the backstory we got with Broly
Okay.
in the last movie.
okay. So
They had the people on that planet that they were trying to like dupe Vegeta with.
yeah.
But yeah,
But regardless, like the whole like he just basically the power made him crazy or whatever in the original movie. Whereas in this one, it almost comes off like maybe Broly doesn't really hate Vegeta. I mean, he probably does because his father taught him to, right? But like, you see aspects of the character that are like, yeah, I really don't want to be doing this. Like, I was kind of forced into being this way uh, by
baby, you were born this way.
by what the fuck is his name? Paragus.
Paragus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always think
Asparagus.
Pegasus. Paragus.
Pegasus.
But yeah, he was like forced into
Flying Nimbus.
being the way that he is, like as far as just like being trained to fight, all for his dad to get vengeance on Vegeta.
Yeah.
So I like this. I like this
So-
setup a lot more. What I wanted to say a few minutes ago, though, real quick before you continue on, you asked me about the intro. I like the incorporation of all these elements, like like Frieza being involved in this and everything,
Yeah, I love that too.
because it does lead to like I think a more logical explanation as to like how Broly and Paragus even found Vegeta in the first place. Because like Frieza was already on a mission to collect the Dragon Balls, right? And he had scouts going out trying to find strong warriors. And whereas in the original movie, it's just like, oh, Paragus just knows where Vegeta is somehow. He just fucking shows up, and then like
Yeah.
Vegeta's just like, oh, and I know it kind of fits the character at the time, but like he's so egotistical. He's like, all right, let's go to this new Vegeta you've created or whatever. And it's just like, this is kind of just like convenient for convenience sake, Whereas this, it
Yeah.
does a way
But
better
see-
job of building the story.
So the way I'll defend like both of the decisions that we're talking about is, like I said, that Broly movie came out. It was written months in advance before the Cell Saga was where it was at. So the things that didn't match up continuity wise, that they had to be ahead of schedule. Because by the way, it was the same animation team that was animating the manga for Dragon Ball Z and doing the movies. Like they were just kicking ass and doing all this stuff. Toriyama, he came up with designs for the original Broly design. Like all the original Broly shit you saw, he designed it, and then the animators took it off with it. And the other guy, Koyama, is the one that came up with the story. Now, kind of pressed for time when you're kind of doing that stuff because Koyama also was in charge of the anime, so he didn't have like a whole section of time where he could plan this thing out properly for like a feature length movie. Like those movies were released as like a Super Dragon Ball Z episode, really to generate some extra money and to promote the series. So a lot of those movies, most of those movies really, were just kind of quick to the point. And that Broly movie is the longest one they put out with. It was only an hour and 5 minutes too. So you had like very little time to do that. This movie was an hour and like 35 minutes. So you had a little more wiggle room with what they could do with. And also, Toriyama took everything from that Z movie and just changed it a little bit. Like none of the stuff he come up with was original for this Broly. So I know everybody says, "Well, I liked it because Toriyama has the respect of all the people, and he should because he created this." But Toriyama also didn't come up with an original idea for Broly for this movie. Like everything is literally just taken from. Other than he made Broly look more like Yamcha in the face, and made Broly shorter. He didn't want him to be as tall or as big, so he changed that up. Fun fact: the little ear that Broly wears around his waist, and which is in the woods. We'll get into it in just a minute, people, as we talk about it. I'm just talking towards Cody in particular. So the ear that he wears around his waist, and the design of Broly without his armor on his chest when they're in that little pocket universe where he looks like the legendary Super Saiyan, Toriyama didn't come up with that at all.
Yeah.
It was Tortala. So Toriyama didn't even draw that. They put that in this movie because they know exactly what the fans were looking for. Broly in this movie, this is my opinion, is more of a hulking idiot that is based off his fighting instincts than what people portray the Z Broly as. So he's sympathetic, but when he's fighting, he's just going off instinct and he's just fighting. Where Broly is like Z Broly's, he's a villain. There's nothing redeeming about him. He's just a psychopath with all this fucking power.
Yeah,
And he's like almost the true embodiment of an evil saint.
Z Broly is almost like kind of like I don't know, like more of a monster. Yeah, that's basically like he's a monster, basically.
But the Z Broly is what, when you think of like an evil Saiyan, that's like he's the epitome of the evil Saiyan. Like that's what he is. So the Saiyans we see in this movie where they're all like tender-hearted and shit like that, that shit was not at all the way it was told from Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball GT. I don't know how it was in Super because I didn't watch Super. But this is a Toriyama thing where he changed the story up a little bit. And it fits where they look more human-like. Well, they are human, but they act more human-like. And that's not how it was a Saiyan. They're a warrior race. And you have people like just cutting up meat and acting like it's a farmer's market and shit like that. It's like, that's not how that shit works. But, so, I agree. This movie is better than the Dragon Ball Z Broly movie. But it also had a bigger budget. It had more time. And had the Z Broly movie to take away from everything. This wasn't an original like story that Toriyama come up with. Like the guy who directed it watched all three of the Z Broly movies multiple times to make sure that they got it right. Because they wanted to make sure they put everything in there that everybody loved. So the fact that he had more of an easier story, because everybody just talks about, again, like I've seen enough videos breaking it down where it's, Goku was crying, it's the only reason he turned big. It's like, not really, but I mean, if that's what you take away from it, that's what you take away from it. And this one is like, he just got sent to this planet and all this other shit. I like the whole Frieza connection because I wish that Z Broly had some interaction with Frieza. That would have been fucking awesome. But before we get into the Super thing, Cody, there is one cameo I really wanted in this movie that I didn't get, and I think it would have been the 100% completion of fan service in this movie. Take a guess at who that character is that we didn't get.
Krillin.
What'd you say, Owen? I didn't hear you. You cut out.
Krillin.
Krillin.
No, we didn't see Krillin in this movie, did we?
No, where is he?
Holy shit! I didn't even think about that at all. There was no Krillin or anything like that. Holy shit! Nah, fuck Krillin. That ain't that. Cody, once I say this, Cody's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's right." But I'm gonna wait for him to guess it. He's gonna get one guess.
I really can't think of anybody that would have been like, in connection with like the Frieza Force or the Saiyans, like on Planet Vegeta or anything. I really can't. I mean, the only one I could possibly think of, I know they mentioned Vegeta's brother, but they don't show him. Nappa,
Yeah.
maybe.
They showed Nappa though.
Do they?
Yeah, he's the taller Saiyan. Once you get the thing like our home planet was destroyed, and he's got the little Fu Manchu, and he's got a little mohawk like Raccoon, but it's black. That's Nappa.
Dude, I get that flew right over my fucking head. I guess because I'm just used to
But
seeing
yeah, that
Nappa
was
bald or whatever, so like that flew right over my fucking head.
yeah.
Um,
But if you look at Nappa in the Bardock the Father of Goku special, he has that little mohawk of hair
Okay,
that
yeah,
he
like-
has in this too. So
yeah.
there's a callback to that.
yeah, like I said, I mean it's been so many years since I've seen that.
No, I got you. I'm just
Oh.
obsessed with that shit. So but
Yeah,
you can't take your guess.
I really don't. I really can't think of anybody.
All right,
Cooler. Yeah, but then they would have had to make Cooler canon, which I guess this movie kind of does make a bunch of characters canon anyway. But
Yeah, I mean it makes Broly canon.
yeah,
Wait, Broly
Like,
wasn't
for me-
canon. So is canon just... So did Toriyama like direct this or write this or
No.
what?
I think
He wrote some of it.
Didn't they make this into part of the manga though? If I'm not mistaken.
They did this afterwards. Like this movie came out before the manga.
Right. But later on, they made this part of the manga, like the Dragon Ball Super manga.
I think so. I don't know if there's a manga chapter of Broly. There might be before they got to like the Moro and stuff like that, which you can fill us in on because I have no idea. But Owen, canon is just really what the holy grail of canon is the Dragon Ball manga because Toriyama completely wrote that stuff. He designed all the movie characters and all the characters you see on the anime series itself. But he wasn't working on the animated series. Toyo Animation was the one working on that series. Toriyama, so he drew all this up, but he wrote all the manga. So pretty much the closest thing to canon you're going to get is Dragon Ball, and for the most part, Dragon Ball Z Kai or Dragon Ball Kai. I'm not sure if they have the Z in it still. And then Dragon Ball Super, and then this Broly movie Super, and then the manga that continues on after that. So that's what true canon is. So all the movie villains. So if I ever pick another Dragon Ball Z movie to do, it's non-canon because it doesn't fit in the timeline of the animated series. Like there's no way to fit it. Like the Broly movie would take place during the 10-day preparation of the Cell games, where Cell is creating a ring and he just wants to destroy all the Earth opponents, but he wants to do it in a competitive style instead of just blowing up the planet. So there's no way that movie could fit. Like none of the movies fit into the canon of the story. So the fifth movie is Revenge of Cooler. You find out Cooler has an older brother. So he was also the son of King Cold. The only time Cooler's ever interacted with Frieza and King Cold is in the video games and the Super Dragon Ball Heroes little 15-minute anime series that they put out that lasted a couple years. And it's just based off of a card game. But Cooler is like the inverse of Frieza. He's mostly purple with a little bit of white, and he has his own kind of like Ginyu Force called Cooler's Armored Squadron.
And he's a lot
And
nicer.
yeah. But the thing is, they say like, so the Cooler movie is obviously a parallel timeline, but the interactions in the video games between Frieza and Cooler says that there is a main timeline Cooler, and that's what I'm kind of like if they had just put Cooler with King Cold just for a cameo, would have made him canon. And I would have been perfectly happy with that. Just that would have been the complete thing. I mean, we saw Raditz, Nappa, Vegeta, the Ginyus. We saw everything. Bardock, King Vegeta, like all that stuff. But Cooler was in there for me. That would have been like 100% fan service for the canon. This is my opinion. So Dragon Ball Z ends with Goku and Vegeta killing Kid Buu, which is this purple mystical creature that can regenerate from absolutely nothingness, and that's the end of Dragon Ball Z. So we have a 5 years time jump, right, Cody,
I,
for
I,
Super?
I believe that's right.
Okay,
Um,
so we talked about this. Like, I think at the end of the last episode, they released two Dragon Ball Z movies in theaters before the Super series. It was Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods, which introduces Beerus, who looks like Anubis, the Egyptian god of death, and he's trying to fight the Super Saiyan God. And it's my birds are chirping down there. I'm gonna cover them up when we get done. Um, so he wants to fight Goku because he thinks Goku's a legendary Super Saiyan God, which is some new legend that they come up with. And then Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, which is a return of Frieza, and that movie Frieza has a new form, and that's where they introduce Super Saiyan Blue and all that stuff. So as those movies were making money, they asked Toriyama, "Hey, can you make a new series?" He goes, "Okay." So while waiting for him to write the manga for the rest of it, they turned Battle of Gods into the first season of Dragon Ball Super, and turned Resurrection F into the second season of Frieza of Dragon Ball Super. So you had two seasons. I don't know how many episodes that was. You had two seasons where Toriyama could get the manga out, and then they could start producing episodes. So that ran for what, Cody, like 5 years maybe? Dragon Ball Super.
I'm not exactly sure on the time because I think by the time I started actually watching it, it was already they were already in the not the Tournament of Power, but damn, what I don't know what it's called because I think that I can't remember what the tournaments are called. There's the final tournament that ends the series where it's like all of the universes battling against each other, and then there's the one like before that. It's almost like a preliminary tournament where then like
Yeah.
Emperor King Zeno or whatever is like, um, oh, I want an
Oh,
even
well.
bigger tournament.
So I'm talking, unfortunately, in like American terms when it comes to seasons. When Japan puts out a series, they just put out the fucking whole live run back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah, like for
So it
example,
ran a.
One Piece season one just ended.
Did One Piece actually end?
Well, it's season one ended
Oh Lord,
after
it's only
like
over a
a
thousand
thousand
episodes.
episodes.
Yeah. So the original run of the Dragon Ball Super in Japan anime, they broadcasted July 5th, 2015, ended March 25th, 2018. It's 131 episodes. And let me see here. Battle of Gods. So it's a retelling of the movie. So I think people consider the seasons of Resurrection of Frieza and Battle of the Gods, the sagas, as the canon telling of the thing instead of the movies, even though Toriyama is the one that did the movies. I don't think Toriyama, like, there's been some discussion. I don't think he had a lot to do with the Super anime and shit like that. I think he designed a lot of the characters and stuff like that. But so, like, I think it's quite funny. I don't know how much more he was involved with Dragon Ball Super versus what he did, the little bit he did with GT at the beginning.
Well, he was
Uh,
involved. He was involved with the manga. That's the big differentiating factor between the two because GT was just a completely original series that was made, like an anime series that was made
yeah,
without being based on a
but no
manga.
manga.
Whereas Super was
Yeah,
it was a manga that was being based, and that's why they stopped making it is because they didn't want to do what they did with Dragon Ball Z, where they had a lot of filler episodes while they waited for new chapters of the manga to be published or be finished, or I don't know exactly how they worked that out. But um, so with Dragon Ball Super, they got to the end of the Tournament of Power and all that, and they're like, okay, we're done. And I guess the thought process was always that, well, once the manga gets further along down the road, they'll come back to it and continue on. Which because like now there's several arcs or sagas or whatever into Super, like beyond
well,
the Tournament of Power, and they still haven't done anything else with the anime. Um,
so
but
I'm reading this on the Wikipedia page. when the series ended on March 25th, 2018, with the conclusion of the Universal Survival Saga, Fuji TV stated that there were no plans to continue the series.
Right. Well, in that, I
Like,
mean, obviously that's also 8 years ago at this point, and we've come to a point now where like Dragon Ball is going to continue without Toriyama. I mean, it's going to. It's one of the biggest. I mean, it's one of the biggest like Japanese manga slash anime franchises in the world. I mean, it might actually be the biggest in the entire world. And
What is?
it does look like we're coming upon 2 years since they put out any more manga though.
right,
Like
and
it
but
was
and I know
March
they
2024
just
when they ended
well, you
it.
also got to remember too they just finished Daima up, or they did Daima last year, so that kind of filled the void as far as like any kind of anime or anything like that. Also to note, just for everyone listening, because you probably won't hear this for another like couple months after we release this or after we record this. Um, the current date is January 10th, 2026. I think it's on January 22nd, something like that. I know it's like the early 20th or whatever in January. There is going to be a 40th anniversary event for Dragon Ball happening where they are going to celebrate, as they say, the past and the future of Dragon Ball in across all media. So they're supposedly going to talk about manga, games, which the games are probably very easily predictable as to what they're going to talk about. They might tease like this new DLC that they're doing for Dragon Ball Fighters, and they'll probably announce some new Sparking Zero DLC and some other stuff like that. And I'm assuming that they're going to announce the future of whatever they're doing with the anime, which the easiest thing to do for them at the moment would be just, hey, let's go back. We're going to continue on with the super anime, because they do have all these other arcs and stuff that they haven't touched. So I mean, there's what is his name, Moro or whatever.
Moro?
Yeah, the big
Yeah,
goat
it's like
man.
the space goat.
Yeah,
Yeah, the space
and
goat ram thing.
space goat bat, and you know, you have to get to Ultra Ego Vegeta, which Vegeta fans like me, Vegeta number one always. Vegeta
Yeah.
fans like me, I think a lot of us are wanting to see Ultra Ego like in anime form, and also so they can finally start adding him to other things, like the video games and all that. And there's also Frieza Black, that's part of the manga, who is the most powerful mortal being in existence at that point. Spoiler alert. He spoiler for Frieza Black, but in the manga, if I'm recollecting correctly, he one shots Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta, basically proving that he is the strongest being in existence outside of the god of destruction, Beerus, who is always like they never indicate that anyone is ever more powerful than Beerus is. So
I think they've hinted around that Whis is actually stronger than Beerus because he
yeah,
trained Beerus.
yeah, I guess they have kind of teased around that Whis is stronger, but they use Beerus as like the benchmark for like this is the most powerful being, but without outright saying that
Yeah.
Whis is more powerful than he is.
So I think that I guess just based off that, the next step is to fuse Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego into Vegeta or Gogeta to kill Frieza.
Ultra Vegito or Ultra Gogeta. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know,
Or
because
Gogeta,
I don't think they ever reached any further forms with the manga. At least not at the point where it stopped or where it's reached now. So, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what the next step would be. I don't know where you go from there. I mean, part of me, I don't know. I know we're getting way off track from the Broly movie, but I don't know, Lance. You may have seen like the fan art from like decades ago of Super Saiyan 5 Goku. Do you remember
yeah,
this? Where he's
completely
like,
white hair, kind of
yeah,
red skin.
yeah, and
Yeah.
That like I kind of wish that the Super Saiyan 4 route was something that they would have continued on with. I mean, I like Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. I think it's super cool looking, and like Ultra Instinct is really neat. I mean, I like all that stuff. But Super Saiyan 4 is still my favorite, and like if they would have continued down that line somehow. Also, Daima, I did look it up earlier today. Daima is considered canon to
Yeah,
Super.
but it doesn't fit though.
It doesn't make any sense because it's you reach Super Saiyan 4 in at the end of Daima like Goku does or whatever. Or actually, he's been hiding the form, I guess, because they pull that bullshit that it's so lazy, um, where it's just like
That
I've been
that
hiding this.
Namekian guy like unlocks it.
Yeah, I've been hiding this secret form that I learned while training with whoever. And it's just like, oh, come on now, like,
Yeah. So the explicit. I'm gonna explain real quick for the fans and for Owen because I'm sure he's lost. So Daima is a series that Toriyama, I guess, wrote or designed. That was put together. It was I think he wrote one prequel manga one shot for the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie that comes after the Broly movie because I just looked that up. It's like the last thing he kind of released. But Daima is the last series that he kind of put together design wise. It borrows from Dragon Ball GT on two levels. Instead of turning Goku into a kid, as I mentioned at the top of this episode, it turned everyone into a kid, and they have to go into this demon realm that are talked about in the Xenoverse games. And then Goku unleashes Super Saiyan 4, but it's a different look, different design, which is okay. But he can achieve that form as a kid, and then when they get their adult bodies back, he turns back into it again, so people can see it that way. But the thing is, like for Dragon Ball GT, Super Saiyan 4 is so powerful, Goku can't have that form as a kid. So even though he's a kid, when he achieves Super Saiyan 4, he gets to his adult form. Cody, if you could you get Super Saiyan 4 from GT and then the Daima design and send it to
yeah.
the.
Also, something else I want to point out about Super Saiyan 4 and why I think it is superior in GT, is the entire way that
So
it
I
has
was
to.
going to ask you that before we got in. I was going to ask you that. So based off the two designs, which you're going to send to Owen and us in the group chat, do you like the GT better than Daima design? Just out of curiosity.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. I like the design better. I like just the entire like build up to it a lot more. Like I said, the Daima one. I know it's only 20 episodes long, and they were just like, okay, we got to get this going or whatever. But I hate how lazy it was in Daima, where it's just like, oh yeah, I learned this new technique of training with so and so. It's just like there's no like build up to it. Whereas in GT, it's like okay, we have to figure out a way for Goku to achieve a higher form than Super Saiyan 3 because there's this threat to our planet that we need to get rid of, and like they have to go through this whole process of like basically grabbing and it's super when I'm going to describe it, it sounds corny. I mean it's an anime, but they have to like grab like the nub where his tail used to be or whatever, and they like basically pull a new tail out.
Yeah. It kind of goes on a little too long
Yeah,
in that episode. I remember watching that.
but to
But
achieve the
yeah.
form, it's like because it is like sort of a more humanoid form of the great ape transformation.
Hmm.
So instead of changing into a standard great ape, he changes into a golden great ape, which is more powerful than the regular great ape. And then he has to
Yeah,
like
it's like Super Saiyan Grade 8.
right, and then he has to basically gain control of it while he's in grade ape form. So like mentally, because the whole idea is like once they're a grade ape, they lose control. They talk about it in this Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, where they're like, yeah,
Hmm.
Broly
They
basically
lose
has the
all
power of a
reason.
grade eight, but yeah. But anyway,
They
he has
Yeah,
to.
Owen. This is for Owen too. Owen, when they transform into ape, they lose all reason and connection to their conscious. So it's just like a rampaging beast. Now there are upper level warriors like Vegeta that have complete control of the form, and it was always funny to me because I remember hearing about GT. But when Vegeta turns into a great ape in the Saiyan saga, he can talk and do all this other stuff. And I remember thinking in GT when they were, like people were talking about GT, like Goku had to gain control of that form, and when Vegeta turned into it, I'm like, well, Vegeta's got no fucking problem controlling it. So, um,
Why doesn't he just turn into it
Vegeta,
all the time?
yeah, well, I mean, the only thing is like Vegeta has to get his tail. Like, so Goku got his tail back because he became a kid, whereas Vegeta was still an adult. So they had to do some scientific stuff to make him
That's what it
into a golden
was.
great
Yeah,
ape.
For Vegeta, wasn't Vegeta the one they pulled it out or something
No. It was Goku that you were right 100%. Vegeta Bulma came up with this machine
to
when
make
he
him?
was baby Vegeta that shot out blood waves is what the radiation they
Yeah,
get from the
yeah.
moon.
Okay, I remember now
And
because baby Vegeta turns into a golden Uzuru or
Golden Uzuru,
whatever.
but he couldn't become Super Saiyan 4 since he was mostly baby at that point.
Yeah,
Vegeta later on in the series, they come up with Owen. If you look at the thing, that's the two different designs of Super Saiyan 4. Owen, left is the GT, and
Yeah.
right is the Daima. And then
Okay.
Owen, Cody, could you find Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Gogeta and show him that too? I apologize, man. You're just better at this. Um, so this is like a fucking nerd off between me and Cody. I love it. Anyway, um, so when Vegeta turns into a Golden Great Ape the second time, he's not a bad guy being possessed by an alien. He acts like he grabs Goku, starts crushing him, acts like he's out of control, and Goku's like, Vegeta, you gotta take it, over, you gotta take it over. And Vegeta goes, I'm the Prince of all Saiyans. This form can never take over me. And then just casually turns into Super Saiyan 4, which I love Vegeta's Super Saiyan 4 the most. But Gogeta looks pretty fucking sick too.
I just wish that
So that's
Vegeta wasn't
Vegeta.
wearing those pants.
Yeah, it's like the leather pants. Like, look at my ass. Also in this movie, um, yeah. So that's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta right there, Owen. Which we see Gogeta in this Broly movie
They keep
where they
getting
do the
like
fusion dance.
more and more ridiculous looking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is like the best design. Um, but as you can tell, like looking at the picture of the two Gokus, Owen, which one? I'm just curious what visually, because obviously you've never seen any of this shit. Visually, what do you prefer looking at that?
So that's the two at the top there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's Goku. That's Daima on the right, Dragon Ball GT on the left.
I like the GT's colors better. I feel like it has more colors like that, or I don't know. Its color palette's more appealing to me than the one on the the
yeah.
left.
Like
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it on the last episode we did, but like the contrast with the black hair and then like the red body hair, I think is more visually appealing versus like the fur for one on the Daima version is like magenta looking, and it's everything. His hair on his head and his body fur is all magenta.
Yeah.
Plus, like the yellow like pants that Goku wears in GT, I think also does
It
a
stands
nicer
out a
job
little
of
bit more.
contrast. Yeah.
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 It's kind of like
But
visually unappealing.
But there
to
are
But the
the
last-
orange
there are
pants.
things that they did with the Daima version that I don't mind. Like I do think it's interesting that they made like his forearms and hands bigger to make him more ape like, as opposed to like the GT version where he just kind of looks like they're shaped just like normal, like a normal human, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are elements of it that are nice. It's just, yeah, like I was saying before, I think just the way it's handled in GT and visually, it's just better.
Yeah. So I think if a newer fan or a fan of like that goes by, because there's a lot of people that go by the altar of Toriyama, kind of like Star Wars fans that altered George Lucas, would say that you're probably blinded by nostalgia there. Now I agree with you. This isn't me attacking you. I don't want you thinking that whatsoever, because me and you are pretty much in lockstep with most of our opinions. I think the Daima has the benefit of this is a fan service thing, like 100% fan service
Yeah.
that people could consider canon because Toriyama came up with it, even though Toriyama designed Super Saiyan 4. And it has the benefit of coming after GT and the criticisms of GT so it can come across better. You know what I'm saying? That's why fans. So for me, like when we talk about this Broly and the Z Broly and Super Broly has the benefit of coming out 2018. The first movie came out in 1993, so it has the benefit of coming out 25 years later, almost 26 years later, because that movie came out March '93. So
Yeah.
almost 26 later, this movie has the benefit of coming out with it. And by the way, it wasn't even Toriyama's idea to put Broly in this movie. He was suggested by Toei Animation to put Broly in this movie because they knew how popular Broly was, but with the fans. So he went back and watched all three Broly movies and just retweaked the story and shit like that. So I mean, Toriyama had an easier time. Like he gave that backstory that I guess you guys could prefer, and then Broly's temperament. Um, but he has the benefit of hindsight, and then people will accept almost everything he puts out. You know what I'm saying? So for this super movie, I love the super movie. I think the super movie is like almost perfect. If I had to grade it, I'd give it a 98. The only reason I leave off a 2% is because there's no Cooler or Cooler's Armored Squadron cameo. If they had just put that in there, this movie would have been 100% for me. Just from the movie's beautiful. I've seen some people complain about some of the CGI in this movie. I didn't fucking notice it. I think the animation looks fucking great. I think what they do in Dragon Ball Super Hero is a fucking downgrade from
I
the clips I've seen.
I think the CG is noticeable, but I don't really feel like that it's used much until the part where like Goku is it when Goku goes Super Saiyan, or is it after Gogeta shows up and like there's like that weird like dimensional
I
rift thing that happens?
I think some of the CGI they were talking about is like when Frieza's ship first shows up at the beginning of the movie,
Oh,
and
okay,
some of
yeah.
those shots. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Watching it, and I paid attention from watching this because I had to get to watching all my little info videos I had picked out, which really didn't tell me anything I didn't know. Um, None of those shots took me out of the movie. Like sometimes we'll sit there and when we talk about obviously like the Mummy Returns. How I mean I love the design that wasn't finished of the Scorpion King, and his story's awesome, but his visuals just completely take you out of that fucking moment. Like almost every time I go to watch that movie, I'm thinking, you know what, this is gonna be great, and then I remember when I see it, like, oh yeah, it just takes you out. There was nothing in this movie from the animation, CGI, or anything like that that took me out of this movie. This movie felt like a fucking grand event. This is like Avengers Endgame for Dragon Ball Z, in my opinion. Like this was like the pinnacle of everything. Am I off base saying that, Cody? Do you kind of feel like it was kind of like a greatest hits while introducing something that everybody wanted to see?
Yeah, I don't know about greatest hits. I just think it does a lot of fan service, right? Like you said, I mean, because
Well,
you
I
get
mean,
all these characters
so
that show up. Um,
so greatest hits. Though what I'm saying is like, so you have Bardock, but it's the Dragon Ball minus, which is the it was Jocko the Patrolman, which I talked about briefly in this episode, was this manga that Toriyama drew up, and he was a space traveler, time traveler, trying to stop some things from happening. But this manga didn't reveal itself as a Dragon Ball prequel until like later on in the series. So you didn't know until you started seeing characters come up. Like Bulma has a sister, and that's who he interacts with the most.
mhm.
And
Yeah, isn't her sister? Isn't her
so you
sister
talk.
named Briefs?
No, Briefs is her last name. I don't
Oh,
know what
you're
her
right.
sister's
You're
name
right.
is.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
something. And her sister makes a cameo in Super Anime. I know that. Like Bulma calls her one time, and they're all like, "Bulma has a sister."
Her name is Tight. Her
Um,
name is Tights.
Heights. Okay. So that's a prequel series. They took a lot of the Bardock Gine stuff from that prequel series to put it in this movie. But I'm saying Bardock, like, so you had Bardock Gine. We finally get to see her. But you see Bardock, he has bad a bad feeling that something's going to happen. He's predicting that Frieza is going to destroy the planet before he had the special power to see the future of the planet dying. So he got to see that. But you see all that. You see him at the beginning trying to stop Frieza's death ball. He's all damaged up like he was before. He's at the forefront. He's the only thing up there. He gets destroyed just like he did before.
Yeah.
You have Broly. You have all that stuff. So when I say greatest hits, like
Right.
you have
Yeah.
all that stuff that is wrapped up in a really nice bow. Like,
Yeah, I
there
mean,
wasn't anything like other than that's just me being like, oh man, I wish Cooler was in it,
yeah,
but it doesn't break it for me. Like
yeah,
this
because
is
they
fucking
they definitely
phenomenal.
make it work with the structure of the story. It all flows
Fits perfectly.
together. Given the backstory with Bardock and all that, I mean, it doesn't do anything to take. It doesn't diminish anything with the actual Broly being the focal point, and it does a good job because, especially like for a movie, you've got to like do a good job of like you can't just throw Frieza in there and be like, oh yeah, Frieza sent somebody to go find Broly, right? Like I love the way it's all set up. I mean, the structure of it is very well
Yeah.
done.
Oh yeah, I like 100% agree with all that. I think I was telling Owen this, like Owen has a vague knowledge of most of these characters because his best friend is a Dragon Ball fan, right? Right, Owen.
Yes, that's correct.
So he has a
Chala,
general overview. Shut up, Cody. Anyway, you
chala.
keep fucking baiting me. Anyway, you fucker. Um, fucking brain rot just
what
fucking
is
popped in my
the
head.
what
It's
is
the
the
it's the
It's the
theme song
Japanese
for Dragon Ball Z.
the
from the
Japanese
it's
version?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So the one I like Dragon, Rock the Dragon. That's the Ocean dub that was a Saturday morning cartoon that they put out for Dragon Ball Z, and then Dragon Ball Z they like when it became a solely Funimation production with Funimation actors, they had like more like hard rock music.
Oh yeah, it's very
Uh,
like late '80s Japanese.
No,
yes,
Rock. I
very
think you're
much.
you're mistaken. Rock the Dragon is the Funimation dub.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, Funimation. So no, hold on, Cody. Let me finish, brother. So the Ocean dub, the episodes 1 through 53, where they have the different voices that I've talked about, where Vegeta has a different voice than the
Oh,
voice we know.
okay. Yeah.
They
The
you were not
I see it
that
now.
Rock the Dragon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Rock the Dragon is the
It says
theme song
yeah. It
for
says
that set.
right. It says Rock the Dragon is the theme song heard for the Funimation slash Saban dub
Saban, yeah.
of Dragon Ball Z episodes 1 through 53, as well as for the
So
original Funimation in-house dub of 54 to 92. Um, yeah, because I knew like
I
because
don't remember that
I
at all
never
because it was on Toonami.
yeah I don't remember the Ocean dub specifically, but that song I definitely remember as a kid. It wasn't until
I
much later in life
I
that I ever heard like the other version or whatever that they did for the theme song.
so I don't remember because I did watch it on Toonami. I don't remember that theme song playing when it was the Funimation solely owned thing because
Yeah.
they actually released a Rock the Dragon set back in 2013 that sold out pretty quick. That was the first 53 episodes of Dragon Ball Z and the three movies of Dead Zone, World's Strongest, and Tree of Might with the original Ocean dub, and it was called Rock the Dragon set.
Yeah,
And it
I
was
mean
the
I'm
only time they ever released it.
that
Funimation
that
sold
bit
it.
that I just read is directly from the Dragon Ball wiki, like the fandom wiki, um, where they
Yeah,
say that it was used
I
up
don't.
through episode 92. Um,
It could have been like I don't remember that at all for some reason. I just associate it with that because I only saw that intro. That can't be fucking right, man, because the music was different. There's no fucking way.
well,
Hold on.
92 episodes doesn't cover the whole series, so like
No, no, no. I understand that though, but I remember watching, um, like I remember watching the next episode, episode 54 on Toonami, because I had been watching it only on UPN at that point. I didn't know it was on Cartoon Network, so I kept watching like episodes 1 through 53, and then I'm like, oh, the next episode. Then I miss it. I'm like, what did I miss? When I watched it on Toonami, and it was the next episode where Goku comes down, he drops down from Namek for the first time to confront the Ginyu Force. They already had the dun 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 dun, that almost like Ace Ventura guitar riff music. That was it. I promise you. I remember that 100%.
that and I
That they didn't have Rock the Dragon at that
no
point.
we you were so okay. The episodes that you had seen had to have been after that because I'm telling you, the only place I ever watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid was on Toonami. That's literally the only place I ever watched it, and I specifically remember Rock the Dragon being the theme song there,
Fuck the dragon.
but not for the entire thing. So like that probably covers 92 episodes. Probably covers up through the Cell Saga, or at least most of it.
No, no. Because remember, Dragon Ball Z has like 291 episodes, brother.
Okay, hold on. Let me just look up DBZ episode 90. What is it? What did I say? 92. Episode 92. We're getting way off track.
Oh yeah, but it's fine.
Chala, head chala. Oh, that's still the Frieza saga.
I like the Japanese intro.
Did you listen to it, or is
So-
this
Yeah,
singing?
I listened to that one. I listened to part of. They had, I guess, a second one. And then I listened to Rock the Dragon. All
Yeah, so episode
in that
92
period of time.
Episode 92 is it's when Goku is fighting Frieza in his final form, but it's not even the end of the Frieza saga. So it's after that episode they changed to the other, I guess, more generic rock song, according to the wiki. But yeah, I like I said, I remember hearing Rock the Dragon when I was a kid, watching it on Toonami. So it had to be the Funimation dub, because I don't ever remember.
So whoever put that on Wika is full of shit. Because I have people, I found this Reddit page people were talking about. People are quoting that Wika page, and someone who same thing as me. They go, let's see here. I just found it. I scrolled up like an idiot. I fucking hate that, because I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to sit there and like download Reddit as an app whatsoever. Let's see here. So it says Wika says a funny use of Funimation, short for funny, used it at the beginning of the in-house run from episodes 53 to 92. And someone goes, well, maybe later. I vividly remember the opening changing in Namek, and it was the Falconer opening. That was during the first ever airing. So yeah, there's maybe some Mandela shit, or maybe
no. I'm seeing people on the Reddit talk about how like they stopped using it either during or right after the Frieza saga. Like I'm telling you, Lance, like it was not just exclusively used for the Ocean dub. Because like I said, I promise you, I've never heard the Ocean. I never saw the Ocean dub as a kid. I only watched Dragon Ball on Toonami, and it was Rock the Dragon at least during the Namekian Frieza stuff.
Look, Toonami did play the Ocean dub. They didn't release a Funimation in-house dub of episodes 1 through 53 to like 05. So the episodes you watched of the Ocean dub, like the episodes from Raditz all the way to the Ginyu Force, and they kept replaying it, was the Ocean dub. They didn't have anything. I'm telling you, there was one episode where it switches. That's episode 54. That's the Funimation dub. Funimation is the one that's produced the whole fucking thing, but they license it out, the voices, to the Canadian group that we call the Ocean dub in Vancouver. They're the ones that did the voices from episodes 1 to 53. So whatever episodes that you had watched on Toonami at that point were the Ocean dubs until that episode switched. Because they would get to a certain point and then they would just replay the series because they hadn't finished dubbing the rest of the episodes. They replayed it multiple times. So maybe people were getting confused that way, because there wasn't a live run on Toonami where it just went episodes 1 through 261. It went 1 through 53, then it went back to 1 to 53, and then they dropped the next set of episodes. Then it went back and started replaying them again. So there's a Mandela effect going on. But I promise you that the music was different when that episode 54 hit, because that's when Goku drops down on Namek, and Vegeta and them are all beat up, because the voices are completely different, the music's completely different. Bruce Falconer had nothing to do with that. Maybe it was on some home releases, but I promise you, man. I mean, I'm a little older than you, so I'm more like aware of what I was watching. I'm like 12 years old watching this shit, where you were 8. So I was completely aware. I was thrown off. Like, that shit's burned in my fucking brain. That music, they did not use the Rock the Dragon song for episodes 54 beyond. It was on Toonami because Toonami was playing everything, is what I'm trying to say. So whatever episodes you watched, I promise you, you watched Ocean dub. Once you see it, you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of remember that. Because it wasn't always Christopher Sabat that played Vegeta. So, Cody's like left and he's like looking at shit trying to prove me wrong, which is fine. I don't care.
No,
That's cool.
I don't
I
care.
like
I
the
don't
nerd
care
talk.
anymore. I was gonna let you finish, and then I was gonna say we need to move on because we're wasting too much time talking about arguing about Rock
Well,
the
I mean, this is gonna
Dragon.
be.
Cock the dragon. Fuck the dragon.
Suck the dragon.
He said, "Fuck the dragon."
Hump
Drag
the
Choke
dragon.
the dragon.
Suck the dragon. Dragon Ball cream, yeah.
Dragon Ball cream. Fuck the dragon.
All right, let's
Dragon
get back to
Ball
the Broly
nuts.
movie.
Yeah. But no, so like this takes place. The rest of the Broly movie takes place after Super, which they have a big tournament of power, which is a multiverse event. Like I said, Dragon Ball Z would come from Goku fighting a dinosaur in his native village to multiple universes. That's how big Dragon Ball Z's got.
Yeah, I mean,
So
obviously,
if you
when,
ever
when
sit
you're
there and think
constantly trying to
Marvel
like
jump,
one up the last thing that Goku and the other heroes have like defeated, you kind of like have to do something else.
you
know?
lose you jump the shark. Man.
Yeah, a little bit.
100% jump the shark. But yeah, it's crazy. So there's a big tournament of power. They got all these other characters. So Goku, and the tournament of power though, Goku does hit Ultra Instinct a little bit. He doesn't do that all in this movie.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the thing I was thinking watching this because I was like, okay, this obviously takes place after the Tournament of Power, and they're like, oh, there's just no way we can beat Broly. I'm like, you can go Ultra Instinct. Why did you just not do that? You know. But yeah, anyway, I mean, I don't. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because it allowed them to like put Gogeta in here. So, and we even got to see Fat Gogeta and Skinny Gogeta.
That was the best part.
I love how like Fat Gogeta has a little bit of like King Kai's voice in it too.
When they go fusion, when they do the fusion, do their personalities also morph together?
So the way I've always kind of perceived it is that because there's two different fusions that they've done. Like Lance mentioned earlier, there's a fusion that they do with the Patara earrings, which is they're these earrings they each put on like opposite ears, and then it forces them to fuse together. That creates Vegito, and I've always kind of perceived Vegito having it's supposed to blend their personalities, right? But Vegito I've always perceived to have a little bit leaning more toward like Goku's personality, whereas Gogeta kind of leans more toward Vegeta. Like he's like very cocky and you know a little bit honestly a little bit arrogant, but rightfully so because he's incredibly powerful. But yeah, it is supposed to blend them, but I do think that each version like kind of leans one way or the other.
See, I did not know that
shit,
there were two
okay.
different
So-
versions.
I was on this, so I don't know how it was broadcast, but when I was watching those episodes of Dragon Ball Z, somebody just made a good point. So that music, which I think it's the Rising Sun, like dun, 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 you know the little thing. So they didn't have an intro for Dragon Ball Z anymore. So when I was watching it on Toonami, they didn't play the Dragon Ball Z intro. So when they were playing blocks, they would do last time on Dragon Ball Z, and they would do that part, and then they would do the title sequence, and then go right to the episode. So there was no like dun 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 dun. There was no that. So when I was watching on Toonami, there wasn't that. That's why I don't remember that shit. Like they would probably play the intro for one episode, and they played Dragon Ball Z at one time up to at least an hour, maybe 2 hours. I think it was an hour.
I think it was
So
an
maybe
hour,
the
yeah.
first episode they'd play the intro, and then the second episode they wouldn't play the song. So it would be just like cut right into it. I guess that's the way for them to get more commercials put in. So that's why I didn't remember that at all, because I'm like, they didn't do it because I just remember that fucking thing. You ever watch it on a DVD thing or Blu-ray or whatever? It's like you'll get the intro the first time, and then the episode just plays and then plays, you know. So that's why. Anywho, so I'm glad I figured that shit out. Anyway, so yeah, that is the one thing, and even you said, Cody, that in Super during the Tournament of Power, he had Super Saiyan 3 and he did the Kaioken, right?
He does Super Saiyan Blue, and he uses
Oh,
Kaioken.
Super Saiyan, yeah, not 3. Yeah, my bad. I said blue in my head, 3 out loud. Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken, right?
Right.
So he doesn't do that in this movie, right?
No, in this it's just Super Saiyan Blue. Like that they definitely
Okay.
it again, I think it's probably just an excuse to like let's put Gogeta in this. Because
Yeah.
in the tournament power there's definitely like steps and forms he takes above Super Saiyan Blue, and with this taking place technically after the end of Dragon Ball Super, the anime, and if you consider the manga canon, it takes place before the whatever the Moro arc or saga is called. Then Goku definitely would have had not only like a Kaioken power up to Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, but he would have also been able to go Ultra Instinct.
So they, yeah, it felt like they just kind of left some stuff out because it does take place during that. Oh, like during Super, there is a Goku Black, and I'm not being racist. There's a Kaioshin, which are these otherworldly beings that are uh, of the immortal realm. Like they live like for a very long time. One of them wants to take over the universe and destroy all mortals. So he ends up finding the strongest body, which is Goku. Asks another set of Dragon Balls to switch his body with his soul with Goku's soul, so he has Goku's body, and then he turns into a Super Saiyan Violet
Super Saiyan Rose.
or something like that. Rose, so he has like pink hair and it looks like a fruit, like a
The,
fruit cake,
there's
like an eggplant.
there and that arc is extremely confusing because it deals so much with time travel that like
Oh, I know.
technically the Kai, I guess is what you would call it, but the Kaioshin or whatever, that takes over Goku's body is like they go into the future to help Trunks, who comes back to the past to ask for their help because they're like Goku Black is there like wreaking havoc and trying to destroy the planet, or really he wants to destroy everything because he feels like humanity is like a scourge to the earth. And they go back in time at one point, I guess, to meet this Kai that they believe is Goku Black because the energy readings are the same, and Goku fights him and like determines that, oh, this must not be the right guy because like their power levels are close but it's not quite the same, so they leave him alone. But then it turns out that that specific Kai is the one that actually like uses the Dragon Balls to swap body with Goku in the future beyond that point, and then like is able to like basically just rip through time and space on his own because he's so incredibly powerful, I guess, uh, without the need of a time machine or anything. It's very fucking confusing because then he finds like another version of himself that is
And
from
that's when they merge.
that is
That's
from
immortal.
yeah that's like the other version of
He
himself is
becomes
like
immortal.
from the future Trunks timeline, which is already confusing because again they went back in time, and the one they went back in time to fight is the one that took over Goku's body. But I guess because they had already gone in the future and then back in time, it creates all this different like rifts in time and shit. It's very confusing.
Dragon Ball Z, everyone jumped the shark. Very much so on that. But I'm still gonna like end up watching it just because I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna give it a shot. I like the future Trunks character. I don't like him having blue hair, but I like future Trunks as a character. So yeah, this movie takes place after that. Goku and Vegeta are training. Um, Frieza's soldiers end up discovering Broly and his father on that desolate planet. They bring him back, so Frieza gives him a clean set of clothes, and he wants to go kill the Saiyans and wish a stupid wish with the Dragon Balls where he wants to grow 5 centimeters. And yeah, it's really stupid because I want to look like I'm still growing. Yeah, it's pretty
Any
stupid.
more than that would be too noticeable.
It's so funny how him and Bulma have like the same fucking thing they want to do.
It's all just vanity, yeah. Bulma
Yeah,
uses
it's
the Dragon
100%
Balls to
that.
like not age.
It's so fucking stupid.
Hey,
But so
Lance, continue. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm still gonna be listening, but I gotta run downstairs and do something real quick.
okay. Um. So the fight. Well, so Broly and Paragus are taken to Earth with Frieza. Frieza gets the Dragon Balls, and Broly sees Goku and Vegeta, specifically Vegeta. And his dad tells him pretty much sick him, and then they just start the fight. And the rest of the movie is just this long, drawn out, but not drawn out, long, filled with a shit ton of action fight between Broly and Vegeta, then Broly and Goku, then Broly and Goku and Vegeta, and then Goku and Vegeta teleport away because they try to come up with a different plan. Because at this point, Broly has become like his. They call it like the berserker form. He's not truly. So the thing is, Broly's never trained with anybody but his father, and he had an animal, this big fucking furry creature that was like a monster on this planet that he became friends with. And he would train by trying to escape his teeth. Um, Broly just has this innate ability to be really fucking strong, and he gets strong. The madder he gets, the stronger he gets. So he just keeps getting madder and madder and madder. Well, Frieza tries to put this to a test, and he kills Paragus, Broly's father. And then Owen, I don't know if you remember that video I sent you, where Frieza goes, "Broly, look," but he says something else.
Yeah,
You remember
do.
that? When we watched this movie, did you think about that scene when it happened? He goes,
Yeah,
"Broly, look."
I did. I did indeed. It's kind of weird
It's
hearing it, that
supposed
way.
to. You're
Yeah.
like, this isn't right. What are we doing?
You're like, something's missing here.
um, but then, so Broly turns into like this, like not legendary Super Saiyan, but it's clearly an homage to legendary Super Saiyan look that he has. He still has his armor on and everything. Um, and by the way, the animation in this movie is just gorgeous. The transformations look great. It's slowed down. You don't have this kind of time to do this in a 23-minute episode, but an hour and 45-minute movie, yeah, you got the time. Um, and then Broly ends up like he keeps chasing after Goku and Vegeta. Well, Goku has this move where his instant transmission, where he can teleport anywhere in the universe
Yeah.
if he can lock onto a signal. So he's already made a connection. Piccolo is talking to him from far away distance, and Piccolo is asking, "Do you need my help?" And he goes like, "Oh, just stand by. We may need you." So he locks onto Piccolo and transports him and Vegeta there. What's funny is Broly's in his like fucking complete animalistic legendary Super Saiyan form, and he's chasing them. And then Goku and Vegeta fly up in front of Frieza, like, "Good luck, Frieza!" And then they fly off, and Goku teleports. Broly starts kicking the shit out of Frieza, just smacking him front to back, front to back. It's like, bad, baby, bad.
Hmm.
And so Goku and Vegeta, like, they have this dance where they can fuse into one being that multiplies their power by multiple, right? So Goku is trying to teach Vegeta this dance, and it's a 30-minute fusion. So they do it one time, they get it wrong, the fingers don't touch right, they turn into a fat Gogeta. And then they do it again because the angle of the arms weren't right, and it's old Gogeta. They did this bit before when Trunks and Goten, the sons of Goku and Vegeta, do it to form Gotenks. They end up becoming fat or really old. And then let me grab another headphone right quick. This battery's about to die.
Okay.
So can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So they finally get the fusion. They fuse into Gogeta, and then Gogeta comes back, and Frieza's getting the shit kicked out of him, even though he's transformed into his final form, Golden Frieza. And then Vegeta and Broly have this kick-ass fight going back and forth. Gogeta turns into Super Saiyan Blue. The two Frieza Force members that saved Broly from the planet he was on summon the Eternal Dragon, and as Goku and Vegeta are about to lay the final blow as Gogeta on him, doing the, I think it's supposed to be the final Kamehameha, but I don't think so. I think they say Kamehameha, and they wish Broly back to his planet. So the whole thing, Broly ends up going back to his planet, and the members of the Frieza Force, the two members, they desert the Frieza Force, go up there to like be with him, and then Frieza goes off saying he'll come back, and Goku and Vegeta defuse, and Goku goes up there and they gives him some supplies, and they have this little moment where Goku just wants to continue to fight with Broly so he can get stronger and stronger. And, he says, I'll bring you stuff. So, they make an agreement that he can bring them supplies and stuff like that as long as he can train with Broly whenever he wants. And then they don't even know Goku's name. They go, well, what's your name? He goes, my name's Goku, but Broly, you can call me Kakarot. Being like a little nod to Broly going nuts at the Kakarot thing. That's a little wink at the fans. And then that's the end of the movie. So, is Cody back yet?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. So, the plot of this movie, we kind of went over a lot of this stuff, just talking in general about the series. There's a lot of fights in this movie, but it's one big fight that lasts like 35 fucking minutes, but it's awesome. At no point in this movie do you sit there and think, man, this is boring as hell. Like, no, they do all this awesome shit. And Toriyama didn't even design any of the fights. In the storyboards, he goes, and then they have a big fight. I just read that up too. So, yeah. Like, this movie has just fucking awesome. Like, it's an awesome fight. Like, I do like the storytelling. I think, and I'm going to ask Owen this. Like, if you didn't know anything about Dragon Ball Z,
yeah,
there's enough for you to sit down and watch this movie and at least be lost on a few things, but you could still enjoy the whole fucking thing if you were into animation and stuff like that. Owen, so you are the guinea pig I have here. You had no experience of watching anything but probably a couple of clips of Dragon Ball Z before watching the Z Broly movie and then this.
yeah.
So with little bit of information I've given you and the information your other friend gave you, and then the stuff you watched, and then watching the Z Broly movie. Now watching this, being a newbie, were you at all lost in the story where you're just like, no, this is pretty kick-ass?
In this movie, no.
Yeah, so you were like you just thought it was good, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was pretty simple to follow.
Okay, so what did you think about the action?
I mean, it was pretty
like
good.
The fights
It was
and all that shit.
It was fluid. It seemed like it was pretty well animated. It didn't. The animation, yeah, you could tell they put a lot of money into that until when it goes 3D. But that's because I have sort of a bias against 3D a little bit when it comes to action.
Yeah,
over like 2D.
so you talking about the little pocket universe thing that they were in?
Yeah, when they go into that and it becomes like the 3D models instead of like the 2D animation. But other than that, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a fluid. The fight scenes are very fluid and punchy. They feel good.
Yeah. Okay. So Cody, throughout this whole like spec of this movie, was there any part of the movie that you thought didn't look like crisp or didn't look good? Or did look really crisp, but you were surprised? I'm just curious. Like, I guess either or.
I mean, there was no point. There was no point in this movie that I thought, "Oh, this looks bad."
Oh,
I
hold
mean,
on.
even the CG
I
that,
can't
like you
hear
said, people
nobody.
have
Yeah.
kind of negative
I can't
reactions
hear
about.
nobody.
I think it all like plays well,
Fucking hate
especially
this.
when it just goes kind of nuts.
Hold on,
Whenever
boys. Hold on.
you have like Super Saiyan
All right.
Broly and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff going at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I couldn't hear anything you said, but it's okay. I'm assuming. Yeah, the other headphones popped on again. They did the whole thing again. So I
Oh.
apologize. So I'm assuming you said everything looked good. Did
Yeah.
anything look ugly to you in the animation?
No.
Okay. Because you guys have probably like better TVs than I do. I have a TV made for a Blu-ray, but not even 4K Blu-ray. So everything.
Lance
I
is
still
using a
think looks
CRT
fucking
from
phenomenal.
1988.
Yeah, that's
That
how you watch Dragon Ball.
1970s
What the fuck,
dial
really?
TV.
Ugh. Well, I fucking every time I get on Cody, every time I get on Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and they have the TV filter, I'm like, I feel like it's distracting.
Yeah, I turned.
So
it
I
off.
always end up turning everything like the filter off. I make it widescreen.
Yeah, I
So
feel
everything, it's like even the details look fuzzy,
those
but I still just like the widescreen of it.
those filters to me are mostly bullshit anyway. Like, It's funny because I got a CRT when I went up for Christmas to see my mom and dad, and I got mom's old CRT, like her little tiny CRT that I used to use as a kid, and I brought it back down here, and me and my friend, we played Resident Evil 2 and some other PlayStation 2 games and shit on it, and like I realized while we were doing that, like I was like, dude, like all these CRT filters are like bullshit. Like it doesn't look anything like an actual CRT.
I'll say the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection ones look pretty good for what they're trying to do. It's just I'm not playing a collection on a PlayStation 5 in the year 2026 and being like, man, I wish this looked like a CRT.
Yeah.
Like, get rid of all that shit. I just want to look at it as clean as possible.
Yeah.
I agree. Hold on. I gotta put my computer on the charger.
But it's not like Lance watching Dragon Ball Super Broly on one of those late 1940s, early 1950s 6-inch black and white televisions.
I thought, this. They're joking. It's a 1995 TV. No, I mean, I thought this movie looked phenomenal, front to back. So.
Oh, Owen.
I guess I'll ask.
What did you think of Chilai?
That's the blue guy?
The green girl.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, Broly's little side chick.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how that's going to work.
What do you think of how thirsty she was?
She said, And the old guy was down. He was down to get Broly's dick wet.
Are you talking about the orange?
He was working for it.
Guy?
Yeah, the orange old dude. He was like, whatever you need. He was like,
whatever you need.
Fucking
her.
He was her wingman, basically.
Yeah, he was.
She's like, I gotta say Broly because I need me a piece of that.
I like to watch.
And Goku was nice enough to bring him a fuck house.
Yeah, he was like,
he's got a bed for you guys to have sex in.
You guys could have sex in this capsule.
He goes, oh, and by the way, Broly, marriage isn't a food. Just to give you a heads up, I got tricked on that. Because there's a thing in Dragon Ball where Goku and Chi-Chi meet as Goku's wife. They meet as kids, and she's smitten with him, and he doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. And she goes, you want to get married when we get older? And he goes, married? Okay. He thinks marriage is food. Because he's an idiot. But that is crazy. The only Dragon Ball characters in this movie, outside of Vegeta and Goku, are like Bulma, Trunks, Goten, for just a little bit. Bola, which is Vegeta and Bulma's daughter.
Is she even a Dragon Ball character? Or a Dragon Ball Z character? Was she in the Buu Saga, or did she get introduced in Super?
No, she got introduced to Super.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah, but she's canon in this movie regardless. But,
right. Yeah. So, I'm just saying because I was thinking more like who are the characters that have been around since like Z or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just talking like there's no Gohan, there's Piccolo, there's no Krillin, there's no Yamcha, there's no Tien, there's no Chaozu, there's no Chi-Chi, no Ox King, no Master Roshi, no King Kai, nothing like that.
Yamcha could have went away after the Saiyan saga, and I think we would have all been just fine.
Well, be honest, real quick, Cody. Look at Super Broly and look at Dragon Ball Z Yamcha. Don't tell me they fucking look like brothers. Just the design. You look it up for yourself right now. Just Dragon Ball Z Yamcha, and then Dragon Ball Super Broly in his base form, obviously. And tell me what you think.
Tell me what you want.
Show me what you're working with. Tell you what I want. What I really want. I want.
Yeah, they do kind of look similar.
Yeah. So, Broly's design isn't even fucking original. Anyway, yeah, so that's it for Dragon Ball Super Broly. Like I was saying, like, Toriyama only drew Broly in the Saiyan armor. So, the little flap, that's the ear of the beast that he was friends with. I can't remember the name that he wears. That was put onto him by the director, because it looks like the little red skirt he has around his royal pants in the Dragon Ball Z movie. You know, he's
Mm.
got the little necklace piece that controls his power, like the headpiece that Broly has in Z, and that's completely topless version where he rips off where his last transformation where he's like legendary Super Saiyan. He doesn't have anything on his chest. Toriyama did not design that. The director put that in here because they knew exactly what the fans wanted. So for me, this movie does have the benefit of hindsight with Broly and what people talked about with Broly, and they were able to correct this. Like I said, this wasn't an original thing. So for me, it's always like, yeah, this is great and I love it, but I also love the other one. And when people say, well, I like this one better, I'm like, well, you wouldn't have this one if you didn't have the other one. And like I said, Toriyama had to be suggested by Toei to put Broly into a fucking movie. Like, look, he's our most popular non-canon character. Just put him in this fucking movie, please. Um, so I guess I'll go around with this question. I'll do the normal. Do you recommend this movie? And then I'm gonna say I already know Cody's answer. I probably know Owen's answer, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask it anyway. So Cody, do you recommend Dragon Ball Super Broly?
Yes.
Do you just recommend it flat out for anybody to watch, or just anime fans?
Well, I mean, you have to be a fan of like animation in general, but obviously, but yeah, I mean, because you don't need any like prior context for Dragon Ball, really. I think this movie does a good
Yeah.
job of like setting everything up well enough for you to understand what the fuck's going on.
Okay. That's what I wanted to ask. Also,
Yes, I
you
prefer this
the
over.
Super
I
version
prefer
over
this over
Broly.
the Dragon Ball Z one.
Okay. Now, let me say this though: when you sat there and talked about Z just being a mindless idiot, like Kakarot and shit like that,
Yeah, that was
isn't he
that
more
was
of a mindless idiot in this?
that was misremembering, and yeah, he is. As he gets more and more powerful in this, he does become more and more like mindless. But I still prefer the character development overall for Broly in this. The whole like I pointed out earlier, it seems more like this way of life is more forced on him by Paragus, and you can see like he doesn't really. I don't think he really wants to fight, but obviously once he gets set off, it's hard for him to control himself at that point. Uh, yeah, I mean, I just like his because I prefer this version of him over the whole like his power made him psychotic and then he had to basically be tamed with a necklace, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's a headpiece in that one. It's a necklace in this. I
Right.
think
Right, yeah, you're
he's
right.
just a psychopath. I don't think the power drives him crazy. He's just a fucking psychopath and just wants. He's a true what a Saiyan is supposed to be in Z, like a bloodthirsty just warrior that wants to destroy shit or just get stronger. So he
Yeah.
constantly gets stronger. I don't think he was driven mad by his power. He was driven mad. He's triggered by Goku crying and then end up getting killed by King Vegeta's soldiers.
Yeah,
But he's hearing Goku's crying at the same fucking time, so all that shit's coming out to him. That's when he just he could turn if he didn't have the fucking the headpiece on. He could turn into a legendary Super Saiyan at any time.
yeah.
Like he can make that form. He only can't do it because his dad wants to control him. So in Z, Paragus is evil, but he's not as evil as Broly. He's trying to control it. In Super, I feel like Paragus is more evil than Broly, but he does like love his son. He does care for
I
him,
don't
just like he does in Z.
and I don't think it's really that he's evil here. I think it's just that
Well, I think
I,
Paragus he's a true Saiyan. He killed that one Saiyan that was on the ship with him.
yeah,
That
yeah.
he
I
said
mean,
was going to
he's
send him back.
he's not a good person by any means, but I don't think he's truly evil. I think he's just so like focused on like getting revenge against King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta, Vegeta the Fourth,
And that's what
fourth
that's
of
what
his
his
name.
motivation was in. Yeah, I know it's just fucking weird. I think that was his and that's his motivation in Z, which is funny because I think you like the backstory more. Because to me, Broly's still just kind of just a simplified idiot, no matter what. He's very much like Goku. Like, oh, so this guy isn't evil, but he just likes to fight like Goku.
Yeah, but
And that's where my fundamental difference is. Where I don't like
him being, and
Go
also
ahead.
like in this, like he doesn't have great his grammar's not expansive and all that sort of thing. Like he's very like simple when he talks as well, like when he's just in his base form. But it's better explained because it's like, oh yeah, he was a fucking small child when he was sent to this barren planet, and then they got trapped there. Like they had no way of getting off. So like it was literally just him and his dad and the monsters, you know. But even then, it's not
Yeah,
like it doesn't seem like Broly once is like driven like by this psychopathic nature, like in the Z version. Again, I prefer
for me,
Super over Z.
no, I get it. I just find it interesting discussing the points. It's like everybody's the majority online discourse has always been, oh, Broly's just an idiot because they're thinking of the Broly Second Coming movie and Bio
Right.
Broly, which you guys have access to, because that's all he does is say Kakarot. But there is one line that's pretty sick in that movie when Gohan says, "I have had enough," and he's about to do the Kamehameha, and then Broly, in a moment of just like sanity, goes, "Not until you lie dead at my feet," which is just fucking sick. Um, but Broly, it's just interesting because they always associate Broly with just, oh, he got mad because Goku was crying. That's stupid, and that's not exactly how that worked out. Like that's what triggered him because all this shit was happening. But people don't want to go that deep into it. They just want to make fun of it because Toriyama didn't create it. So
But
that's where the Toriyama bias comes in.
well, to be
I
fair,
do think this
they do
movie's a better
focus
movie.
too much on the whole like Kakarot crying shit. Like it's a little
Yeah,
much.
well, that is the American dub, and the Japanese dub, it's Goku's ki. Like Paragus, it's not about him crying. It's just like something about Goku's ki was unsettling to Broly. So I guess if you ever watch the Japanese of it with the English subtitles, they mention that there is some context that's lost. They mentioned there's something about Goku's ki that was unnerving to Broly, and that's what made him cry. So when he felt Goku's ki for the first time, that's when he was getting triggered. I think the American dub, just to make it more simple, was like, oh, he was just crying, and that's what pissed Broly off because he was crying.
Yeah.
So there is that kind of context missed. I do think, like, just spoiler alert, I recommend Dragon Ball Super Broly. I think it's a phenomenal fucking movie, and like I said, but it said it also is the benefit of hindsight. You know, when you act like something's better than what came before it, it's like, okay, yeah, it's better, but it had time to rework the mistakes. It wasn't an original idea that was better because there's nothing in this movie that's original. It's everything's just being retold in a
Yeah,
fancy new
sure, but
package, and I love it.
that doesn't always guarantee that it's going to be better either. Because how many times have we seen?
No, I totally get that, but
Yeah,
also Toriyama wasn't the one directing this. They had somebody that was was running it that was also a fan of the series and shit like that, which is cool when you have a fan kind of like directing this thing and wanting to make sure we got everything right. I loved all that shit. Again, it's funny to me because Dragon Ball Z Kai, they put in the beginning parts of Bardock from the TV special. That's the prologue to the Dragon Ball Z Kai is Bardock getting killed by Frieza. Well, with this movie coming out, technically that prologue is non-canon now because that's not the version of Bardock that's supposedly canon. So that's where it gets kind of messy because there's to me there's no like true canon of Dragon Ball. It's really whatever the fuck you want. But I do recommend this movie just for anybody to watch. Like, hey, give this a shot. It's got fucking great action. There's nothing about it's boring. I love everything about it. I love the retelling of everything that they did. Like I said, I do prefer Bardock's characterization and the Saiyan's characterization in the Father of Goku special because they're warriors. They're not being they're like this is like just people destroying shit. This is like they're humans with tails. Everything's great. We love each other. We are told in this movie that they're a warrior race and they're not trustworthy and shit like that. But then the characteristics of all these Saiyans don't match that whatsoever. So for me, the characteristics of the Saiyans on Planet Vegeta are completely off. And Bardock is like cool, but I like his design from the Father of Goku special better with the green. It's just a unique armor design. And I like this Broly, but I know everything this Broly has, they just rearranged it from the original Broly. Like it's the same exact thing. Like they even put in shit from that movie because I mean that just shows you how fucking great it was, the original Broly. So I prefer the Z Broly over Super Broly. Not Second Coming, but Z Broly, because as soon as he turns into Legendary Super Saiyan, he's fucking sadistic as hell. I like those type of villains. I don't need a villain to be like nuanced or an anti-hero or something like that. Sometimes I just want a bad guy to kick ass and then get killed. That's cool. So going to the non-Dragon Ball fan, Owen. Owen, do you recommend this movie?
Yeah, it was a fun watch.
Okay. So, as a non-Dragon Ball fan, is this a movie that you would recommend to anime fans? Do you think anybody could pick it up and get a kick out of it? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty general. I mean, I feel like if anybody who would be willing to give this a try, and wants to watch something that's Dragon Ball related, well, not necessarily, I guess, dipping into like all of the entire series, you could give this a watch.
Okay. I guess I'll have to ask this too. Do you prefer Z Broly or Super Broly? I know this movie's better than the Z Broly movie. We've already established that. But the design of the character and then the characteristics, you can separate it however you want. I'm just curious from somebody because this is this is the payoff.
I like his design in the first movie a lot. I don't know, something about his like cool little bands and ringlets and shit, and like his like soulless expression that he has in the first movie is pretty cool. But as a movie, I would have to say, I do agree. I think undoubtedly this one is a better put together movie just because of time and budget and probably how much it can build off of the previous one.
So when you say that, you're saying that you also like this version of Broly better than the Z version?
I feel like character-wise, this version, there is more nuance going on, which makes him slightly more interesting. I feel like maybe if in the English dub of the last one they had made it more about like the key or some shit instead of him crying, would make him a little less goofy. But yeah, really overall, well, this one's more sympathetic and stuff, so I think as he's more easy to be liked, but I don't think that necessarily makes him automatically a better character, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Okay. And from a design wise,
from a design,
do you like Z Broly better than this one?
Yeah, from a design standpoint, I do like Z Broly. I do like the little ear, fucking little
the pelt
kilt. Yeah, the little pelt kilt thing that he has going on. I like his color scheme with that. Like the green adds a little bit to it, but in his original, I just think he looks kind of like he looks very stone cold, and I think it works a lot better as like this kind of just big bad dude. He looks a little unassuming too, like until he gets into his form, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. So you like the story more of Super Broly and like the look more of Z Broly.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate.
So that's as 50-50 as we can get. So personality wise, do you like Broly just being a sinister killer? Or do you like him being like the sympathetic, like Goku like character? Well, kind of like a mixture of Goku. Like he's being forced to do the Saiyan shit, but he really doesn't want to. Or do you like just a sadistic, he wants to fucking kill everybody and no one can stop him type of deal?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Because really, I don't have like a huge, like, like on one hand, yes, this one is more fleshed out. I would like to see this Broly more from the Super movie over the Z one. I know there's a sequel to the Z one where he comes back, but I don't know.
You have access to watch it. That movie's only like 45 minutes long. It's not super long.
Yeah.
So if you ever felt like watching, you could watch it. I mean, like I said, that's where you get the he's just a mindless idiot at this point because his brain is so fucking fried. He just literally yells Kakarot the whole movie,
Kakarot.
But he's still fucking kick ass looking.
Carrot cake.
Yeah, I can't say the rest of that. Dragon Ball P. Go on, Kristen Stewart. I hope they don't hit each other too hard. Um. All right. So you'd rather. So I guess we'll go 60-40. You prefer Super over Z Broly.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. I mean, they're close, man. I think it's funny as hell. It's not as clear cut as I was kind of thinking it was going to be, which is cool. Because I think I've done a good job defending Z Broly on here.
Yeah.
But this has been fun. You guys, I'm just curious. Did y'all enjoy watching these anime movies? Would that be something we'd be more interested in the future, or we're just like, nah, just stick to regular movies?
Nah,
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I always like watching shit like this.
Okay. Yeah, if I could ever pick a shorter anime movie for us to watch versus, hey guys, let's watch the Ten Commandments on 2 VHS tapes. I think I'll do that. But so that's the end of my part of this episode. Our next episode is going to be hosted by Owen or Cody?
Owen.
Owen, okay.
Oh, dude,
Gotcha.
it's me.
All right, Owen.
Are we revealing Are we going back to revealing what the next episode's
I
gonna
think
be?
we're gonna go all the way up, and we're gonna go all the way up to like, because I'm gonna do one more choice before I get to Halloween, and then once I get to the Halloween movies, we'll just stop doing the next time on filmoscopy bullshit.
Yeah.
Because that I guess I'm gonna have Cody try to release the Halloween episodes in succession once we get it recorded. Just to make it more like I feel like by the time we get there, because I'm kind of hoping those Halloween episodes will be done by the time the Halloween game comes out in September next year or this year. I don't know if I'm gonna make it that way.
No, it won't. It won't work out that way.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be in the middle of it, so maybe we'll get some traction on it. But yeah, Owen, what was going to be your next movie, sir?
I'm thinking of doing the Terminator, the first one.
Oh, fuck yeah! Man, you're a fucking heater, dude.
Taking all the
fucking, you over here like, what is that fucking Barry Manilow movie we watched? That not Barry Manilow, Barry God, that fucking oh fuck, that movie from the American Revolution that Kubrick directed. What did we watch?
Barry Lyndon.
Yeah, Barry Lyndon. That's it, Barry Manilow.
Oh, Quagmire, you came and you gave without taking.
And I need you to.
Yeah. Hey, we went from Barry Lyndon to fucking the Terminator. I'm like, hell yeah, RoboCop 2. Fucking, where's this adrenaline coming from?
We should have done
guys?
RoboCop 3. Now that I think about it.
No, we're good. I am very curious when we do the Terminator. There's a thing, I remember telling Alex about this. There's a scene in that movie where it's very Michael Myers-esque. And the Terminator gets shot and he goes out of this bar window and he's on the ground and people are like, hey man, you're okay? And then it's almost like you hear like a few beats of the Terminator thing, like dum 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 dum, and he opens his eyes and sits up. But it doesn't do the fast part. It just does the slow part. And it reminded me at the end of Halloween where Michael sits up and you hear that da-dum, da-dum when he's walking towards Laurie again. But it's the same exact thing. It's really fucking awesome. But Terminator, that's fucking great. And Cody, you'll get the next two movies after that, and then Owen will get another one. Yeah. So I got a little bit of a break. Yeah. What's going to be your next two?
It and It Chapter 2.
Okay. So we're still going with that, finishing up the trilogy.
Shit.
Of It.
And Shit Chapter 2.
And then Owen after that, though, of course, that's going to be a month and a half. So in 2 months, Owen, you'll have to do another movie. Then I get So I want to do a movie for like 2.5 months, which is going to be crazy. But
I want to do the Human Centipede.
Nah, I'm gonna miss that episode, guys. I'm
sorry. That's required viewing for all members.
Like, no, it's just gonna be Owen by himself talking.
Even Alex.
Look, guys, this is how it happens.
Even Alex needs to be in for that one.
Hey, Alex, like, you want to be on this episode? We'll surprise you the day before the movie you gotta watch. So,
3 men does not a centipede make.
All right, everyone. Well, if you made it this far, I'm sure by the time Cody edits it down, it's going to be one of our longest episodes ever. But thank you for listening. Young Kazzy out there, who I've been talking with over Twitter. It's cool as shit. Hope you're still listening at this point this episode drops. To Sarah, I hope you're still listening. You're probably not. Alex, I know you're there, brother. And everybody out there on YouTube, Spotify, follows us on Facebook or Twitter or just, anybody that listens to us. Thank you very much. Subscribe, like, share, tell your friends about us. Or if you hate us, tell your enemies about us because
Love
you'll waste
us.
their time.
Yes.
I stole that from a YouTuber called The Fourth Snake. I steal everything I use, and nothing I come up with is original. But like I said, next time on Filmoscopy will be
Next
The
time
Terminator,
on
1984.
Filmoscopy
On
Podcast.
Filmoscopy. Gohan and Demicky. But as always, thank y'all, and finish him.
Off.